Hello, and welcome to Fanon Friday. Apparently that 7th Dragon Ball was found, and its wish was to give me shittier mic quality. But that's also because I moved to a new recording location, so we're just gonna deal with it. I'm Michael, or Equinox Doodles, and with me we have the ever-striking Jake.
That's me, and today is sponsored by... Drum roll, please.
I hope that picked up on the mic.
Sponsored by Turkey Burgers. Turkey Burgers, the only burgers made of turkey.
Wow, turkey burgers. And of course, we also have the usually silent, but amazingly stunning Sergio.
And incredibly deadly. We should mention
Incredibly deadly too. He is a ninja.
Don't fuck with him, dude.
Yeah, he's a ninja.
Yeah, that would be me.
One time I pantsed him, right, and he fucking stole both my knees and my, incredibly.
Oh, no way. Dude, one time we stuck pencils in Sergio's afro, and then we kept growing. It was pretty good.
It just kept growing.
Yeah, there was a lot of pencils.
I expected the pencils to stop his hair from growing, but the hair.
No, not the hair. Just the amount of pencils.
The hair consumed all.
The hair consumes all. Sergio, does your afro consume all the pencils?
Yes, they're still in there actually to this day.
Whoa.
He gets his hair cut and they're still there. He doesn't know how.
It's strange dark magics. Alright then. Well, Sergio, it's your Fanon Friday, and if you were paying attention in the last episode, gang, you would know that we were doing pixel comics, but we never said what kind of pixel comics.
Yes, so I have two to look at today. Two that I enjoyed in my youth. I don't know how they hold up. I think one of them probably holds up better than the other one.
Most of them do.
Alright, so the first one, which is probably a little bit more well known. I mean, I don't know how well known it is since it's been literally a decade since it finished up. But it is called 8-Bit Theater. Have you guys heard of 8-Bit Theater?
I have not.
I feel like it sounds familiar, but I don't know about it.
Okay, so I will send you guys the link here in our Discord at nuclearpower.com. First episode was published in 2001, March 2nd, and the last episode was posted in June 2010. So this is a Sprite comic based on it's a humorous adaptation of the first Final Fantasy game. It features Black Mage as the kind of like straight man is annoyed by the comic relief, which is the fighter. The fighter is really stupid. The joke of the comic is that instead of using his swords, he makes ridiculous things like the sword chucks, which somehow work, despite that would just absolutely just kill you before you could even use it on a person because you'd probably cut your own head off. They're then joined by the Red Mage, who believes he's legitimately in a JRPG, because obviously they aren't. They're in real life. And the Thief, who's basically just an exaggerated thievy boy. They're followed around by White Mage, who's like, White Mage actually knows what she's doing, but they're like, you're a White Mage, and you don't know what you're doing. You're a girl. Get out. And White Mage follows them around, trying to keep them under control with the Black Belt, and it basically takes you through the limited plot of Final Fantasy 1.
Neat.
And then by the end of the comic, which I think the comic lasted for about, let's see how many pages. It went for 1,224 pages. They turned into their advanced classes. There are 3 other White Mages, and they defeat Chaos, and that's the end of it. Then there's a little epilogue chapter. There ends up being 3 more White Mages. It's been a while since I've read it. I just looked at the last page, and there were 3 other White Mages. But in the last panel, it's like an epilogue. It's like an actual comic, and there's a humorous joke where Fighter and Black Mage are looking for more work, and on the job board, it's basically the plots of all the other Final Fantasies that came from them after them.
Neat. Very neat.
So some background on it. It was written by a guy named Brian Clevenger. He worked at Marvel for a little bit after doing 8-Bit Theater. He wrote some issues of World War Hulks. He also has
really?
another comic called Atomic Robo and a novel called Nuclear Age. He's also done some other comics, online comics.
So let's get right into this, shall we, gentlemen?
Sure thing.
Do you want to read a couple of panels from it, and then we'll move on to my next one?
Sure. Let's read it. Let's read a few.
All right. So who wants to be Black Mage and who wants to be Fighter?
I'll be Fighter.
Yeah, I feel like you fit that role a lot better. I think Sergio, you should be the Black Mage.
All right, I'll be the Black Mage, and Michael, you can kind of be like, there isn't really a narrator because it's a comic, but you can kind of like just set the scene.
Okay.
Why does you?
Sorry, he's the straight guy to our.
I didn't.
straight man.
I didn't even. I'm fine being Black Mage.
I know.
Black Mage is cool. He's the straight man to our shenanigans. This is what we do.
Anyways,
That's
let's
true.
read.
All right, so we see Black Mage and the Fighter walking through a very crudely made forest with a giant sign that says "Giant's Forest, no solicitors."
So why is it we're going through Giant's Forest?
Because beyond it is the Cave of No Return.
Right, and we would ever want to go there because...
Dude, weren't you paying attention to the old man who tipped us off?
Just indulge me.
Within the Cave of No Return lies the armor of invincibility. Duh.
Wait, if it's the Cave of No Return, then how does anyone know what's inside of it?
Well, where would you suggest they put a suit of mystical armor of invincibility?
Alright, Chuckles. From now on, I pick the adventures.
Fooey. I love that word.
Yeah, Fooey's a good word.
Can I change the sponsor to Fooey? Just a word?
Yeah,
Fooey?
sure.
All right,
Turkey Burger is made by Fooey.
Fooey's Turkey Burgers. The
Yeah.
only turkey burgers ever made.
Yeah.
All right, so chapter 2? Episode
Yes.
2?
Yep.
Page 2?
There.
Oh, that's the epilogue. That's the epilogue. Oops.
No.
Yeah,
I went too
next
far.
and not last.
You went beyond. So this same sort of scene. They're now walking through Giant's Forest. The Fighter's leading.
We're lost, you know that, right?
No, we're not.
We've been walking around for hours.
Relax. I know exactly where we're going.
Oh, do you?
Yep, about an hour ago, I left these tracks by a couple of other guys. Or I found these tracks left by a couple of other guys. So all we have to do is follow these guys until they lead us out.
Tell me, what do you know about these guys from their tracks?
They're about our heights, our weights, and seem to be traveling at about our pace. One of them is probably wearing a suit of armor, and the other seems to have a cloak or robe that brushes the ground after he steps. Why?
These are our own tracks, you Nimrod. You've led us in circles.
Circles, eh?
Shut up. Okay, let's think.
I like swords.
Correction. I'll think.
Relatable. I also like swords.
Swords are cool. All right, we'll get to we'll do this episode 3. So they're still in the Giant's Forest.
I like the angry black mage sprite. They just put one black pixel over one of his eye pixels, and it changes everything.
It does. It's like that. Sorry.
Okay, if we can just get our bearings straight, then we can find our way out of here.
Oh, I know. We can navigate by way of these tracks.
Angry black mage face.
Well, we could.
Shut up. Alright, we'll use that overly huge and strangely purple rock formation as a starting point.
It's a giant's foot that is now taking over the sky. And then there's
more below that, Sergio.
yeah.
And after making a thorough search of the area using a grid-like system, we...
Squishies. And it's a picture of a giant in the back of the forest.
It's the green giant.
Please do not call it Big Chungus.
I believe that is either the ogre or giant sprite from Final Fantasy 1.
Stand back, mage. You shall sample my blade.
Pulls out blade.
No, dear friend, don't try to talk me out of it. Don't use any of your magic attacks to instantly put an end to this battle or anything. Please. Or not.
Where'd the Mage go? Whoa.
Okay, big, green, and ugly. Prepare to face the invincible combat wrath of my tiger-styled sword technique.
And then bonk.
Good preparation.
We now see the Mage zoom towards
big
what looks like
fan.
a small structure and still more woods.
I'm a big fan of that font.
I wonder what that thunderous earth-shaking noise was. Well, I'm sure it wasn't important.
A lone
Oh, no.
defenseless mage running through the woods like a scared little girl, eh? Time to go to work. The mage gets tripped by the
Oof.
mysterious figure. Mysterious figure who has fighter-esque hair comes out. Your GP or your HP?
Man, that is so lame.
So
Yeah.
from what I'm picking up, this is definitely a early 2000s Sprite comic.
Yep. This is a very early 2000 Sprite comic.
I'm a big fan of these fonts that they use.
Yeah, this is like old webcomic-y font.
Yeah, like the foom and the zoom.
Yeah, the boom and
Right.
zoom. We're back to the
All
giant
right.
and the fighter.
I didn't want to have to do this, but you leave me no other choice. Pew! That was the sound of the fighter running away.
Yeah. Hey.
And we come back to the thief and the black mage.
Come on, cough up the gold, magic loser.
Okay, yeah, sure. Let me just reach into my secretive mage-style robes and pull out my knife.
They clash in an epic explosion with a clang, only for the dagger to get thrown into a tree. Wrong move, Sparky.
Aw, nuts.
Suddenly the fighter zips in.
How do you verbalize question mark exclamation point?
Probably something like
like Tim Allen, like
yeah.
run away.
Or like the anime, kind of like That's odd. The Thief's Almanac didn't say anything about there being a total eclipse of the Come here! And then he gets squinched.
Dude, a rip thief.
Is
Thief
there
is-
a white mage in the audience?
Dude, thief is dead, bro. Holy shit.
Holy shit, Thief's dead. So, yeah, this is definitely an early 2000s comic.
How much more of this do we want to read before we...
Part of
Before
me
we
does not
speak
want to
of-
read anymore.
Why do you say that? It's
Because
epic.
this is such an early 2000s comic that it's kind of dated at this point.
It sounds... I mean, on one hand, yeah, but on the other hand, it seems like something that when I'm bored, I would just read
Yeah.
for hours.
That's fair. But I'm also not super familiar with the first Final Fantasy.
I mean, to be fair, it's the first Final Fantasy is very, very bare bones. It's very generic fantasy. It's actually based off D&D.
Really?
Yeah, it
makes
has
sense,
spell
with the
slots.
fighter. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it does.
I don't
the first
think
three
so.
Final Fantasies use spell slots.
I could have sworn spell slots didn't exist back in the day, but I might be wrong.
Is that the first three American Final Fantasies, or the first three?
The
Real
first
Final
three
Fantasies.
real Final Fantasies.
Because if I remember, I'm no expert, so I might be talking out of my ass. But it went in the U.S. It went 1, 2, 6, 7, or 1, 2, 6.
1, 4, 6, 7.
Oh, why?
2 and 3 didn't get English releases for one thing or another. I think either they didn't get the English translations out in time or whatnot.
I think my dog's barking doesn't pick up on my mic, but it probably does.
And the same thing ended up happening with 5. But from what I've read in like at the time, because there were people working to emulate 2, 3, and 5 and getting them English translated, if you're in the know, like I imagine if you got on a computer, it was easy to find out that we were missing Final Fantasy games, but most lay people had no idea.
Yeah, most people probably never knew.
Yeah, until 7 came out, and there was probably a lot of really confused people.
Yeah. Why didn't they rename 7 to 4 when it came to the US?
I don't know. I've never really looked that up. I'm assuming maybe they realized with how because it was like 1995 that eventually someone was gonna figure out that we were missing. Oh wait, they did re-release 2 and 5 on the PS1.
Hmm.
3 didn't get
time...
re-released in America until the early 2000s with a DS release, but they did go back and give us 2 and 5.
Neat. Yeah, I'm not super familiar with Final Fantasy.
So
Final...
I'm thinking, since Mike and I are not Final Fantasy experts, and
yeah, most...
This is a Final Fantasy themed webcomic. Why don't we chat about Final Fantasy for a bit, eh? Fellas?
Yeah, because
Sure.
the last media that I got of Final Fantasy was the remake of 7.
Yeah. I need to beat it, but I've only beaten 4 chapters.
Yeah, I still need to get back to it.
I find this very funny, but the original Final Fantasy 3 was one of the largest Famicom games ever made. Can you guess how much space it took up?
A lot?
I'm gonna guess 500 kilobytes.
That's a lot of kilobytes.
You're close, actually. 512.
Oh, it filled up the whole cartridge?
512 kilobytes was the second highest capacity available for the console.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Or at least officially, I'm assuming.
Yeah, at least
yeah.
At least officially. There might be fan made cartridges that can fit even more, but I want to say the biggest cartridges for an NES was was like a megabyte.
It was very much yeah, NES or Famicom cartridges had a very limited amount of space, which made it.
Limited in today's terms.
Yeah, very much so. But back in the day, you had a pretty decent amount of space.
That shit could literally get us to the moon.
I mean, it got us to Mega Man 2, and that's all that matters to me.
True.
I'm a big Mega Man fan. I like my Mega Man.
But that also led us to Mega Man X7, so who's the real one?
Yeah, but Mega Man. I like big robot. I like robot, dude. He goes pew pew.
Robot. Mega Man.
Yeah, everything has their faults. Yeah, it's the theme song to the Saturday morning cartoon show of Mega Man. That was an actual thing. It was very interesting. But I like my Mega Man. But back to Final Fantasy.
Yeah. So I looked the smallest NES game, which Wikipedia gives a example of Galaxian, was 8 kilobytes, and they went up to 1 megabytes. The example they gave is something called Metal Slater Glory, which I've never heard of.
Sounds wonderful.
Yeah, I'm not super familiar with a lot of the NES games.
So, what would you say your favorite Final Fantasy is, Sergio?
That's a hard question. I think the one that really sticks with me the most is 4. For a reason why is I just have a lot of good memories with it. I played the SNES version on Virtual Console. 4
is fake too, right?
Yeah, 4 is fake too. So not only does it has good music, it's got really really good characters. It's got I want to say it has up to maybe 10 companions, and they're all really good. It's got a big cast. It's not like 6 that's got a big cast, but you only maybe half of them.
Yeah.
So I got stuck on it, and then I got the PSP release, and I finished that one, and I just really enjoyed it. It's got a good world, a good story.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I remember trying to emulate Final Fantasy games when I was real little, when I first learned about emulation. I mean, like, 8 or 9, and I just, like, I'd never played, like, a turn-based RPG at that point, because growing up, you know, I had a PS2. Other than Persona 3 and 4, I can't really think of any proper, like, turn-based non-Final Fantasy RPGs. And I just, like, my dad didn't play any Final Fantasies past 8. I know he owned 8 because I found all the discs a while back, but I think I think they got lost when we moved last year. But so like I played Final Fantasy 1 at like as an 8-year-old, and my brain was like, what is any of this?
Yeah. One is rough. I will say that, especially the NES version.
Like, I'm sure if I played it now, because like I'm experienced with D&D, and I played Persona 3 and 4 and 5, and obviously I played plenty of RPGs now. I could probably do it, but like I never was really like.
Yeah, I recommend for anyone getting Final Fantasy to not start with 1 through 3. You kind of need to be a Final Fantasy fan and understand that they were made back again, and like back then they don't have any like they don't have like a lot of quality of life. Like the re-releases are better, but like if you play the NES version of Final Fantasy 1, a lot of the spells are bugged and don't actually work. They only have like they had like 3 or 4 letters to do certain spells, so you might look at a spell and it's got some name that you're not used to. If you played Final Fantasy, you're like, I don't know what that does.
Also, my dog is crying, so I'm gonna go make sure she's okay.
I'll be right do that. Back. Care for the dog. Yeah, that's what I hear a lot of people say. It's just like, don't play early games of this series.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say don't ever play them, but like know that you're a know that you're a fan. Like you're a fan of Final Fantasy, then go back and play them.
Yeah,
because I've heard a lot of people like, I did a Final Fantasy marathon, and 2 just completely just like stopped it in its tracks. I'd say if you were gonna play them, or start with 4. I think 4 like at 4 they're like easy enough to get into.
I think the one that I personally started with was the one with the clown. I think it's 6.
6 is really good.
I heard good things about 6. Just could not get into it, probably because I was playing on an emulator during school hours, and I just kind of never did anything with it.
Yeah,
I'm also not like a super huge JRPG fan. Like, there's a lot of JRPGs I like, but there's I need like a whole day to actually do something, you know?
Mm-hmm. I have a hard time narrowing down my favorite Final Fantasy game, because most all of them are like special, and my experience playing them was like was like really special to me. I mostly remember them from like my general like enjoyment of them. Like as much as everyone likes Dragon 13, it's one of my favorites. It was my first PS3 game, and I think it was one of the first times I actually completed a JRPG. And like the hallway complaints, that never really bothered me. I mean, if you really look at most JRPGs and stuff like that, a lot of times you are just going from room to room, and you don't really have an open world.
Yeah. There's a lot of games I need to actually sit down and play. A lot of JRPGs. I've been meaning to get to Chrono Trigger. Been meaning to get to.
I bought Chrono Trigger, and I haven't touched it yet. I want to though.
Yeah. Chrono Trigger's one. I hear it's kind of short, so like you should be able to actually do it. Mario and the 7 Stars. I think that's that's Thousand Year Door. I also need to play Thousand Year Door. Super Mario RPG is another one I have to play. Finish Final Fantasy 7 Remake and play Earthbound.
Yeah,
She climbed into my arms because she was scared.
Two JRPGs I'm planning on working on, because I'm currently playing Astral Chain at the moment on the Switch, is one called Resonance of Fate. Probably no one's ever heard of it, but it's It's got a Matrix-inspired combat. It's a gun-focused JRPG, and you basically pull off a bunch of Matrix moves in combat, and it feels really good.
Neat.
And then Tales of Berseria is another one.
Oh yeah, Tales of Berseria. I also have to play that one.
The Tales series is very widely known as being pretty good.
I hear the Tales series is like pretty good.
Tales of Berseria is really fun. The story was really gripping me, so I wanted to get back around it. I played it a little bit a few months ago. I don't know why exactly I was, but I started it up and I was like that, oh, this is good. And then I decided recently that I should get around to it.
Also, since I wasn't here, I missed the question. What was the question?
We were just kind of talking about
what was our favorite Final Fantasies?
I can't answer that because I haven't played a lot of Final Fantasies.
7 Remake.
Yeah, so. I've only really played 7 Remake and I haven't finished it.
Yeah, same. What were the JRPGs you grew up with then? How about let's go with that.
Pokemon.
Pokemon, Kingdom Hearts.
Does Pokemon count?
Yeah, Pokemon counts. It's made in Japan and it's an RPG.
It is an RPG.
Made in Japan.
I think actually one I played 4th grade, 5th grade was Final Fantasy Tactics A2, Grimoire of the Rift on the DS.
Such a title.
That is a long ass title.
Yes, it is. It is such a title, especially since A2 stands for Advance, because it was a sequel to Final Fantasy Tactics Advance.
Why did they keep the Advanced if it was a DS game?
Well, because it was a sequel. Well, I was assuming that's why they shortened it, but yeah, Final Fantasy Tactics A2 on the DS was one of my first was my first Final Fantasy, and it got me into the tactics RPG genre.
Yeah.
I grew up on. Well, let's go, Mike. What did you grow up on?
I already said I grew up on Pokemon. Pokemon was my first real RPG. Trying to think what RPG I like any weird RPGs that I played. I think because like I was
sorry.
I didn't know much about like I didn't know Pokemon had a game in general. I just thought it was an anime. And a trading card game. Like that was it. So yeah, so when I got Fire Red for Christmas, I was like, "Oh, snap. That's kind of nice."
Yeah, I got it. I got Leaf Green as a hand-me-down for my brother. And that was my first Pokemon. But I grew up on Dragon Quest 8 Cursed King. I think that's 8. Sergio, do you know anything about Dragon Quest?
No, I do not.
If I can find the disc.
I know about Dragon Quest.
If I can find the disc, I'm gonna bring it to college and we should play through it together. Because I think I still own DQ8. If it is 8, I think it's either 7 or 8. That's Cursed King or whatever. But
I want to say it's 8 because I think I had to look that up for you at one point.
Yeah. You're correct. But it's I don't know. I grew up on that. I was very bad at it. I watched my dad play it a lot though, and that was like my big thing. It's like watching my dad.
Yeah. I remember with me as a JRPG as a kid, like I had I remember like I really had to like I kept playing tactics over and over again, making new games because like I was just like trying to get it. I remember I found this YouTuber and I kind of like went along with him and played it, but then I realized the RNG made him impossible to do like everything he was doing, but like I learned it and I got it.
Yeah. That was. I also grew up on a technically not a turn-based JRPG, but I played a lot of Dark Cloud and Dark Cloud 2, mostly 2. I see a lot. For some reason, I see a lot of people prefer 1. I don't know if I'm just like blinded by my nostalgia goggles. I could never really get into 1, but I love the Dark Cloud 2. I'm gonna move my pop filter because
You do that, dude.
Also,
I love Dark Cloud 2. The Dark Chronicle, if you're in the UK or wherever else it is. Dark Chronicle.
Speaking of because you mentioned Cloud, I have a Final Fantasy hot takes. Two or one hot take, however you want to look at it, that I want to get out. Because I feel like in terms of Final Fantasy, there are 2 characters that people really don't understand, and I
I'm
think
gonna
that
guess. I'm gonna
they're
guess. Can I
Cloud
guess?
and Squall.
Yeah.
Because most people write them off as just being like, oh, they're dark and edgy, but I just think people get it. Like Cloud,
I would like to blame that on the Kingdom Hearts franchise,
yeah,
because that is most certainly because Cloud and Leon, wink wink, in Kingdom Hearts are super duper edge. I mean, Cloud's got the wrapped up blade. He's got the dark wing. He's got chains and belts. You know, Nomura thing. I don't want to be that guy who's like, oh, Nomura things, but like that is a Nomura thing.
Just a more thing.
Like,
I haven't played Kingdom Hearts either, and I don't plan on doing it.
Really? Is there a reason you don't?
One, I need, as I said before, I need a whole day to actually sit down and play an RPG.
That's fair.
But on top of that, is my sister is holding the PlayStation hostage, so I can't do it. And on top of that is the fact that there are just so many games that I just don't feel like going through it.
That's incredibly fair. Like,
yeah,
as someone who loves it. Sorry for interrupting you again, but as someone who loves Kingdom Hearts, God, there's so many mediocre games. I'm sorry. If I have to play through fucking Birth by Sleep Critical one more time, I'm gonna punch.
I mean, you don't have to play it on Critical.
I mean,
play it on Proud.
but I'm not gonna play it on Proud. What do I look like, a cat?
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I think it's a little silly.
Yeah.
Anything.
No,
anyway, as I was saying, the thing with Cloud is that he's not edgy and whatnot. It's simply because like he has PTSD.
I'm not edgy. I'm depressed. Please stop.
Yeah. Cloud's whole thing is he has depression, and you see him grow past that and get out of it. And I think it's a really good like representation of that kind of thing. It's kind of the same thing with Leon. Is that like I also went into it thinking Leon was depressed. Just like, well, not depressed, but just like super edgy, like, oh, stay away from me. But then I realized that Squall is what?
No, you were like Leon, and I mumbled,
Squall.
I mumbled, man's calling him Leon. Let's all point and laugh.
Squall is a quiet kid, and being that I'm a quiet kid, I was like, oh, this is so cool. They're doing this right, because it was like, it's not that Squall doesn't want to be around anyone, it's that he does. It's just that they just like everyone around him is super loud. And they keep trying to get him to talk and like just like, you know, just fucking being out there, and he just can't handle it. Like he loves hanging out with all the party members. It's just they're loud and they're annoying, and they won't just like leave him alone.
I think that's really funny because like you are absolutely the quiet kid, but I've also seen you go fucking feral at times. Which is like, as someone who's also like was a quiet kid growing up, like I relate to Squalls. From what I've seen of Final Fantasy VIII, because like I've never played it, but I've seen a lot of stuff about it. Like, I relate to Squall being like antisocial, because I am very antisocial. I'm just like
very socially antisocial.
Yeah, I just like
I like talking to people, but I hate people.
Yeah, like it's always been much like a puff out your chest and just like, oh yeah, I'm talking to people, but like I don't really enjoy it. You know?
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, if I have to, I guess.
And I think
unless it's somebody I like, in which case, then I'm like, yeah, dude.
Yeah, like when Sergio and I hang out at college, we're dipshits. I'm sorry, Sergio, but we are absolutely dipshits.
Yeah, I'm pretty silly, not gonna lie.
Anyway, shall we get to our next Sprite comic that I want to cover?
Yeah, let's whip out the next Sprite comic.
All right, so this next one is you're gonna have to download it because it was archived. It's only about 50 megabytes. Just download the zip from this archive.org. So this this is super obscure.
Oh no,
I doubt anyone on the planet has heard of this.
AR.zip?
Yes, AR.zip. It's called the Ansem Retorts.
Oh no!
It's an early 2000s Kingdom Hearts Sprite comic using sprites from Chain of Memories. The general plot is that What?
No, I was just saying, since we brought up Kingdom Hearts. Speaking of Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, so the plot of it is that Ansem is running a reality TV show similar to Big Brother, and he gets it was like Axel, Marluxia, Naminé, and some other Kingdom Hearts characters who are basically nothing like their real counterparts. Everyone is kind of like a name only kind of deal, and then a bunch of wacky hijinks ensue. I found this also on the Bad Webcomics wiki. So apparently this wasn't like really well liked, and from just kind of skimming through my YouTube channel had most of the panels. Yeah, the humor didn't age well. This is very, very edgy. It's also very, very
I love
quality.
how incredibly out of order the fucking. There we go. The zip was like 184, 2, 17.
Yeah, all of the pictures are numbered
Yeah,
in
I
their
fixed
correct
it.
order.
Yeah.
But each comic is about 4 panels each. It has a lot of edgy humor.
I like the first chapter. It really exemplifies the truest of all natures of the character Axel from the game Kingdom Hearts. Truly.
The game Kingdom Hearts.
So are we getting right into this? Can I be Axel?
Yeah, I guess we'll get right into this.
I personally want to be Axel.
All right,
Sorry,
I guess I'll be the. It's fine. We'll let you get the comic up, and I guess we can start.
I'm surprised by how long this is fucking taking to open. There it goes. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, is that Comic Sans?
I think it is Comic Sans. This is a comic.
Oh god, this is already really edgy. I just read ahead. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, I'm literally looking at that page 1, and I'm like, oh, okay.
So it's gonna be this kind of webcomic.
Yeah. So, dear Axel, you are wanted for a reality TV show starting March 21st. March 21st. Don't I have something else that day? Oh yeah, that's when I'm in due in court for torching that orphanage. Burn, orphans, burn.
We see Axel burning down the orphanage.
The Agrabah orphanage, it seems. Although the background looks like
Wonderland.
But whatever. Ah, man, that was awesome. Oh well, now to burn the courthouse. So can we get a
next page?
Can we get a laugh track?
I will take over as Ansem, and we've switched places. We are now in Neverland on Hook's ship. Welcome to the show. I'm the producer. I'll be periodically making your lives hell. Any questions?
Why were we of all people chosen to be on the show?
Oh, let's explain who's all here. So the contestants, we have Kairi, we have Marluxia, we have Zexion, we have Naminé, we have Riku, Sora, and Axel. That was Naminé speaking.
I'll be Zexion and Axel.
Oh, and I think it's kind of small on my screen, but I'm pretty sure that's Larxene in the background. Yes.
Yes, I think. I genuinely don't know.
That is Larxene.
She's like 1 pixel, but yeah, that is Larxene.
All right, back to Ansem speaking. For starters, you all passed the drug test. You looked fine when we illegally accessed your medical records.
You
all have a personality disorder, and each of you is addicted to at least 3 illegal drugs. You fuckers are reality show gold.
Yeah, I can quickly understand why this was in the bad webcomics.
It's amazing.
Next page. Who wants to be Marluxia?
I will be Marluxia.
So I guess we're roommates now. Cheap ass network not giving us our own rooms. I'm Axel. You are?
I am Marluxia. Many a mortal has found death by my blade. I'm the Avatar of Destruction, Satan's personal assassin.
My favorite fact about Marluxia is his voice actor is Blue from Foster's Home from Imaginary Friends anyways. And the pink flower scythe?
It's Feng Shui. Or Shui? I don't know.
Oh my god, it's one of these. Who the hell are you? The Grim Reaper's homosexual cousin? We don't condone homophobic humor. We don't.
I can see why this is very much in the bad webcomic section.
This was also early 2000s, so stuff like that was okay.
Yep, that's fair.
All right, Jake, I assume you're Sora and I'm Riku.
Going off a chain of memories. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, reprising our roles. I can't believe I'm doing this stupid show. So how did you get roped into this?
I don't remember why I'm here. Actually, I don't remember much of anything.
Is this Sora from fucking?
Yeah,
Chain of
someone
memories?
shoved a hand through my chest, and now I have amnesia.
I have 2 swords on my back at all times.
Yeah, I
lost your memory.
I ready my blades.
So are you some mysterious and dark hero who fights for some great evil in order to restore your lost memories?
I lost my memories. Awesome. Now I can be all mysterious and angsty and shit. Is that the first swear word?
No, there was fucker.
Oh, yeah. Hey, my name's Zexian. I'm not complaining or anything, but why am I the only one without a roommate?
This is Ansem speaking. Yes, that would be due to Larkscene.
Oh no.
I know I'm going to regret this, but who's Larkscene?
Oh, I'm missing 5.
You're missing 5? I'm not.
It's not my order. It must be just
It's
named
okay.
something else.
Yeah.
Oh, there it
So
is. It's
comic
just
5.
yeah, it just suddenly didn't appear in my gallery. Sorry.
Who's Larkscene?
That would be Larkscene right here. She has extreme ADD and insomnia. She never stops. Ever.
Did you just cut off your arm?
Yeah, you might want to watch out for that.
This is the peak, like, I'm 13 and I think I'm really funny. I'm like, oh, she cut off your arm.
This is peak 13-year-old humor.
When I found this back in like elementary school or like that late elementary school, this was hilarious.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because that's elementary school humor.
I opened chapter 6. I don't want to read this anymore.
Yeah. We're gonna finish on chapter 6. 1 second. I will be nominee.
I'll be Kyrie.
Oh, I already forgot who's who.
Good, Nominee's a blonde. Kyrie's a redhead.
Okay. Wow, this is so exciting. I'm nominee. I'm sure we'll become great friends. We'll go on fun adventures and all kinds of shit like that. I've never seen a TV like this. It's sort of like a crystal ball, but with TiVo.
TiVo.
What the
That
fuck is
really
TiVo?
dates this.
Oh my god, that really dates
TiVo
this.
was an early DVR service.
Yeah.
So what kind of TV do you like to watch?
OMG, I L1KE Cloud Lamau Ju totally pwned Sephiroth.
What the hell? Hey, does anyone have an English to fangirl
FF7
dictionary?
is L1 L33T exclamation point LOL.
Yeah, I can't take this anymore. I'm
I
in
can't do
constant
this.
agony and pain.
So, did you read this growing up, Sergio?
I did.
I feel really bad for past Sergio, thinking that this was good.
Going back and looking at the final pages, I don't think I finished it. I mean, the comic, I think, if I'm going to the end, is unfinished. I don't know why he never went back and finished it. I just know it was taken off the internet and someone archived it.
I have a feeling I know why it never got finished. It's because it is bad.
According to TV Tropes, Anthem Retort ended on December 2012, so I guess it actually lived past Amphitheater. Author Duke had previously said that there'd be no ending. He just stopped updating the comic when he was done with it, and that's exactly what happened. May 2017, the website finally went up.
I like the slur in the 713th chapter.
I know they used the N-word.
That's not even what I meant. That's not even what I meant. I'm talking how they're promoting LGBT acceptance by calling it Friend a Gay Day.
Friend a Gay Day, wow.
Yeah, I'm not
I don't
gonna,
support
I'm not
that.
gonna explain why that's bad, but if you think about it, you might figure it out.
Yeah, the
I don't
website went
like
offline in
that.
2017, and there were fan archives of it, which is what this is.
There's fans?
I mean,
Besides you?
Someone obviously is a fan because it has a TV Tropes page, and someone bothered to archive it a bunch of times.
Why? I'm so afraid of what people can do now.
I even found an upload of it. Someone's got it up on DeviantArt to read.
That's fine. Like, I kind of figured most things are going to be on DeviantArt eventually.
I don't know. It was just like the kind of like super out there edgy humor that I just liked at that point in my life.
That we
That's
all
fair.
liked at that point.
I mean, if you look at Ansem Retort, you can find a bunch of people like finding it and was just like, yeah, this was something that I used to like back in the day.
Yeah. It's weird because like I feel like most people hit the edgy phase in like middle school. I didn't. I don't know why. I didn't really hit the edgy phase until like I don't know high
I
school.
had
Like, early high
my
school.
I have my dark humor, but like
Yeah.
my dark humor is usually only in like small doses. At least I try. Like I'm not like this kind of elementary school edgy dark humor.
So on a scale from I think our scale for rating these webcomics and like Fanon Fridays, I think the scale should officially be on a scale from Ansem Retort to Dragon Ball XZ. What would we rate this?
As soon as I edit out Sergio's typing, we'll find out.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I would rate both of these. Well, I'd rate Ansem Retort as an Ansem Retort.
Yeah, Ansem
And I'd
Retort
rate-
out of 10.
I'd rate the other one like slightly above Ansem Retort simply because like I'm not interested in it, but like I can see like as you said being really bored and just kind of going through it.
Yeah, I liked it. I think I can say.
Yeah,
I think
I'd say
yeah.
I'm still a fan of 8-Bit Theater. I'd like to actually go back and finish it because I never did. I think I got how far did I get? I think so there's 4 fiends you have to defeat in the years of Final Fantasy 1. I want to say I got to when they got to like the first fiend, which I think was around like page 200.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Sprite comics are weird.
Sprite comics are very weird.
Yeah, like
Speaking of good Sprite shit,
I love Mega Man Sprite comic. Don't get me wrong, but God, Mega Man Sprite comic is a fucking weird series.
yeah, as somebody who is now like kind of I wouldn't say an avid webcomic reader, but somebody that enjoys reading webcomics pretty frequently, Sprite comics are probably the weirdest.
Yes. We know Sergio loves his Homestucks.
I mean, Homestuck's not bad. It's
You
just
kids in your Homestucks.
really long.
Yeah, and Homestuck 2. I don't know if you knew, but Homestuck 2 came out. I haven't gotten around to reading
Did it really?
Yeah,
Yes.
Homestuck got a sequel.
Why? Did it need one? I thought it like ended.
I mean,
I
it
thought-
did.
And then they made a sequel.
I mean, I never finished the first one. I was planning on going back. I wanted to finish it when it like at the time I wanted to finish it because so he went on the Gigapause. I was like, I'm gonna finish it once it's all done, and then I just never got back around to it. I was also kind of jaded from reading it because my friend Zach back in middle school spoiled a character's death for me. I mean, I think she came back eventually, but he just just straight up brought the page up and showed me her die, and I was like, I don't know, I'd say it was traumatic. I was just like kind of depressed for the rest of the day.
I really hate it when people are just like, hey, here's a spoiler for something that you are definitely going to probably watch.
Yeah, isn't that?
Like, I'm like, my rule is, wait 2 weeks before you start talking spoilers. Because then at least, like, especially for movies, because at least then, if you haven't seen the movie, you can't
he knew I was
complain.
nowhere near it. He just wanted to show it to me. Like,
Yeah, it would really.
Because I was like, oh, I like Jade, and it's like, no, well, Jade dies. Like, no.
It would.
And he brought it up for me.
It would
Like,
really
why would you do that?
Yeah, it was
if
just kind of a
somebody
dick
spoiled-
move.
If someone
Like,
spoiled
don't-
the major plot twist for Warframe for you, Sergio?
Like, I'd be really pissed off if somebody came up to me, like, during, like, before I saw Endgame, it was just like, yeah, Tony Stark dies.
To be fair, you
I
did
knew.
post an Infinity War spoiler before the movie came out.
Did I?
Yeah, a day before, or like maybe it was slightly before everyone went to see it. You said Loki dies in Infinity War. I don't think you knew. I think you just put that out there as a fake spoiler.
No.
And I messaged you like Michael,
Yeah.
that's an actual spoiler.
Yeah, usually I make jokes, like, about, like, fake spoilers. I think I said Thor dies in Infinity War. I didn't say Loki dies. I said Thor dies
I thought
in
it was
Infinity
Loki.
War. No, I said Thor
I
because I knew it was
remember.
someone that wouldn't die.
Yeah.
Like, usually I'm always gonna make a joke about somebody dying if it's very obvious that they're not gonna die. But if I said Spider-Man dies in Infinity War,
Nope.
Yeah,
Like, I feel like if I were-
Infinity War, by the way, Spider-Man dies.
dude, Infinity War is like 2 years old.
It's
Yeah.
3 years old, right?
You have no
Is it 3 years
excuse.
old? What fucking year is it? Who am I? Am I
2020.
It's yeah, like seriously, if you haven't seen Infinity War and you're mad about spoilers, perish.
Kenneth hasn't seen either, I think.
Well, yeah, but he was in the army.
He was in the Air Force.
Army.
Don't give him that much credit.
Sorry, he was fixing helichoppers.
I also want to bring up another very emotional, traumatic moment I had with Homestuck. It was, I think it was 7th grade, and I woke up one morning. It was my regular morning before middle school. Had an hour to myself. Hopped on the computer, decided to read some Homestuck. My brain was still waking up, and it was during like the first troll arc. I don't know if you guys read Homestuck, but
Nope.
I think if you're familiar with the trolls,
I think I'm up to Act 2 last time I read it. And I just kind of stopped reading it
I read
afterwards.
it once because Matt told me to, and I was like, I don't get this, and then I stopped reading it.
So so I got to the part with the trolls, and I wasn't really digging them. I kept skipping through a lot of the dialogue. There's this one character named Carcat who just spams the text chat. It's like, I don't want to read through this. I was like, okay, I want to go back to the human characters. And this part, they're all together, and they get betrayed by one of the other trolls, and he kills like half of them. And I was like, watching in like disbelief. Little 13-year-old me watching these characters get slaughtered at 7 in the morning, and like I was just like I was crying. I was like,
You were like, I don't even like
going
these
through all my stages of
characters.
disagree as they were just like even though I didn't like I felt bad. And then
I don't think I've ever.
I went to go to school afterwards.
Yeah. Speaking of webcomics, my webcomics that I'm currently reading just updated. If anyone's curious, for some reason I'm really addicted to 2 romance comics on Webtoon, which is Down to Earth and Let's Play. If you want to talk about Down to Earth and Let's Play,
I think I
you
read
can.
Let's Play actually.
Let's Play is really
Is that
like
the one with the border the knockoff Markiplier who moves in next to the girl and she's
yeah, pretty much.
I read some of that. I think I just stopped after a while.
Here's like real critiques. I invested too much, so I have to continue it. But like season 1's like really good.
Yeah.
And then like afterwards you just kind of realize that there's no stakes because like literally everything's going okay for Sam, and the only bad thing is that she doesn't have a boyfriend yet. Like that's the entire like conflict right now, which I guess is fine, but like if you're talking about indie game developers, you kind of fucked up.
Yeah, like the first thing was like, oh, she got review bombed, and I was like, oh, that's an interesting like plot because like that is a thing that happened. And then it just gets resolved, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I think it gets resolved decently well, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, it does, but like that is like the main crux of the beginning of the plot, and then they just like removed it from the stakes, and it's like, now what is the? I think that's why I stopped reading because I was like,
what are the stakes?
Their boys are thirsting over her, and
they did my. I just want to say this real quick. They did my boy Link dirty.
Yeah,
Link was my favorite character.
I also like. I don't know if anything's happened to Link recently, but I also think.
Where did you end?
They went on a date, right?
Okay.
And then he got friend zoned.
No, he didn't get friend zoned. He friend zoned her.
Oh, he did. Oh, okay. That's where.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what ended up happening. People got really pissed off and they hated him for it. And it made me very upset because I really like Link and he's my boy.
Yeah.
However,
what were we saying?
I'll let Mango finish.
No, go ahead.
So, speaking of webtoons, fan comics, the Adult Confidant AU is going to be getting its second chapter soon. Trademark. He said that back in May 5th that he was finishing up with it. He said recently that he's almost done with all of his commissions, and then he'll get to the personal projects. So hopefully soon.
Also, speaking of webcomics, Unstoppable Spider-Man should be getting a new issue anytime now, because he said it was almost done in April, and if that is the case, it should be out hopefully in June. I mean, hopefully even like by the end of May, but obviously that's like a week from now, so probably not. But read it. if you like webcomics, check up on them. Give them a read. Find the author, suck his toes. Don't do that. Just don't. The authors don't do that. But like, be like, hey, I like your stuff. Give people like, compliment them, you know? Because if you say like, oh, like I really like your comic, just people will be like, wow, that felt nice. Like if I was like, Michael, your drawings look really good today, you'd probably be like, this is your time to input, Michael. Michael is dead.
I am dead.
Yes, but yeah, like, just like, especially if it's like a smaller thing, like, just like shoot them like a tweet and be like, yo, good job on this issue, good job on this episode, or however you want to call them, whatever you kids say.
Yeah, I just send positive invigoration to people. Yeah, my complaints with Let's Play is that there are no stakes anymore, and it's really, really boring. Like, half of the new updates are just them talking. Like, that's it. There is nothing interesting going on. So if anyone wants to get into Let's Play, I'd suggest waiting until, like, Season 2 is finished, and then I'll give my review of it whenever that happens. Because, like, Season 1 was good, but oh dear, oh god.
Yeah.
I don't mean to rag on Scruffy Turtles too much because I love him, my favorite fan creator. But we need like, you know how there's that Twitter account that's like things that happened before Yandere Dev finished event, things that happened before Scruffy Turtles finished the adult cop.au.
I like the Twitter that's things that finished before Yandere Dev finishes Yandere Simulator, because it's so true, and I low-key kind of hate it.
I mean, I low-key kind of hate Yandere Simulator, but you know how it be.
My favorite shitpost Twitter account is images that precede legendary events.
Yes,
that's a pretty good one.
Also, like, one less than perfect shot.
Oh yeah, that's another one.
Yeah. But I think that's it for this episode. What do you say, guys?
Yeah.
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 Come back next week when we do something special.
Yeah. We'll see you then. Bye.